Hi folks, Dermot here from Olus Education with a quick video showing you how you can get your classes set up on the Olus platform. I will say right from the off, if you've got any issues with this, we can walk you through it, we can set up a call, we can do a lot of the work for you once we get the data. But it is actually quite straightforward, and so for a lot of you, you will be able to do this yourselves if you want to do that. So I have my brand new school set up here, so this will be at the point where we've set up your account and you'll get an email as the admin saying your Olus account is ready to go. So where do we go from here? If we come into the classes section to start with, so the admin area in the top left, classes, and then there's this little button in the middle here, which is import classes. Now, if I click on that, it brings me in here, and there's an option to download the import template. Now, you might already have gotten an email from us with a link to this template, along with the students and teachers import template. But if you click on that, it will download a CSV file, which is basically a spreadsheet file, which has the correct columns in the correct places, and we'll look at that in a second. And then once that's ready, you can do the usual thing you do, choose file, find it on your computer, wherever it is in your downloads or wherever you've saved it, and then start the import. And it can be the exact same for the teachers. You can come and get your teacher template and then import it again, and then the exact same with the students as well. So let's have a quick look at those templates. They are fairly simple. This is the first one. This is the import classes template. So this is a list of all of the classes. So the name of the class and what grade level it's at. So let me just paste in some sample data here for us to look at. So we're keeping it very simple. This is a sample school with two classes. There's Miss Jordan's third class. So this is going to be an Irish primary school, Miss Jordan's third class, and Mr. Murphy's fifth class. These class names can be whatever you want them to be. So whatever you call the class internally, I can zoom that a little bit as well for those of you on small screens. Whatever you call the class internally, you put it here. The import class name, this is what we use internally in the system to match up students and teachers with their classes. And 99% of the time, that's just a copy paste from the class name. So if in doubt, copy and paste that over and that should work fine. The only bit you need to be a little bit careful with is the grade. So for Irish primary schools, that will be first class, second class, third class, etc. Or early years, if you had an infants class that you were going to be using. If you were in the UK, that would be year 1, year 2, year 3, etc. like that. So just like that. If you're in Irish secondary school, first year, just like that. Or the only place it gets slightly awkward is for secondary schools, because we don't distinguish in the content once they go beyond second year in an Irish context. If they are, say, a transition year class in Ireland in a secondary school, it would be 2nd to 6th year. Or if you're in the UK, you would have year 7 or then year 8 to 13, like that, for the older groups. So that's the one thing to look out for there. Generally, we don't fill in the teacher email here. You can do that, but if you do that, then you have to upload the teachers first. So you can do either way around, either upload the classes first and then match the teachers to the classes, or vice versa. What I would be saying is do the classes first, leave this teacher email section blank, and then in the next spreadsheet, we'll link those up. So let's do that next spreadsheet. Let's switch over to the import teachers. So here is our import teachers. Again, we can zoom in on that a little bit. Very simple. We need a first name, a last name, an email address. Now, we always get questions about the password. For most schools, you're going to leave the password blank because you're either going to log in with your Google account or your Microsoft account, depending on if you are a Google or a Microsoft school. In the rare case where you don't have Google or Microsoft accounts, you can put a password here, which the teachers can then go in and change themselves. But I would say 90% of the time, more than 90% of the time, that's just going to be blank, and you're going to use sign in with Google or sign in with Microsoft to make that sign in process as painless as possible. So let's again copy over some sample data. So we had Miss Jordan's third class and Mr. Murphy's fifth class. I filled in Sheila Jordan and Joseph Murphy are my sample teachers here. One question we do sometimes get is, can this be, if you're a sort of more traditional school, can this be Miss Jordan and Mr. Murphy? And honestly, it's entirely up to you. If you want to do that, it doesn't really make a huge deal of difference. You might, the very odd place, get Miss or Mr, where you might expect to see a first name, but it really doesn't make a huge deal of difference. Whatever you want to do for your own school, typically we put in the actual names, but again, that's totally up to you. So this is the teacher's template, straightforward enough. First name, last name, email address, and then the class name that you're matching them with. And then the last one we need to look at is the students. And you will notice this looks very familiar because these are the exact same headings as we saw for the teachers. So occasionally we do get the question, hang on, do I have to type out all of my students' names? Hopefully that's not going to be the case, because you're going to have these in a spreadsheet somewhere. If you've got your students all set up on Google or Microsoft, for example, you can export the lists from there. You sometimes might have to do a little bit of messing around with if you've got the email addresses in one place, but you don't have the classes on that list. So there might be a little bit of work to be done there. But basically, it should just be copy and paste from where you already have this data. So list of first names and last names, email addresses, and then this is the import class name that we used in the previous step. So the same name that we set when we were looking at the classes bit, and that we use for the teachers as well. Again, for the password, this is going to be blank in most cases. We also have an extra option for students. We can also use QR codes for login, which I'll show you in a minute in the next section. So very, very rare that you would actually be using passwords for students here, because again, they will mostly be logging in either with their Google or Microsoft accounts or with QR codes. But the option is there if you need it, but most of the time that is going to be blank. So let's go over and let's have a quick look at what this is going to look like in the actual app when we upload it. So we're back to classes here. We're going to, we've already got our import template, so I'm just going to choose file and navigate through my very messy file system here. And this is the one I saved. So we're looking for import classes demo, which is, you're unlikely to have so many versions of this, but this is what I have. Start this import. This can take a minute or two, depending on, particularly if you're doing it at the same time as a lot of other teachers around the country. The server is occasionally slightly slow, but it generally is within sort of 30 seconds or so that'll be uploaded. You don't have to stay on this page. You can navigate away and do what you like, and you do get an email notification when it's done. But generally speaking, if you just come back out here and hit refresh after about 20 or 30 seconds, it's going to be there for you. So once that's done, we've got our class name and our level, and we don't have any teachers assigned because, of course, we haven't uploaded our teachers yet. So let's go and do that. Come to teachers, the very same, import teachers, choose our file, and I'm looking for my import teachers demo, and start import. And again, that's going to take 20 or 30 seconds probably. It takes very slightly longer if you've got a large group, but it shouldn't take too long. Again, you can navigate away from this page. You do get an email when it's finished. And if we click back out to teachers here, that will come up for us in just a second. Okay, so there we have it. We've got our two teachers have shown up now. And if I go back to classes, we can see that that has been linked up now. So Mr. Murphy's fifth class is now correctly assigned to Joseph Murphy, and so on down. And then again, the exact same process with the students. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go find my file, which is this one. And away we go. And again, if you've got a lot of students, this might take a couple of minutes. I'm on the test server here, which is a lot slower, but on the live one, if you have a couple of hundred students, it might take a few minutes. But again, just like the other ones, you can navigate away from this. You don't have to wait around once you've hit upload and it's completed the upload process, and you get this little green notification here. It's working away in the background, and you can say close the page, whatever you need to do, and you do get an email notification when that is done. So we can see the students are uploaded for me there, and again, they've been assigned to the classes. And if I go back to the classes now, if I was to hit edit on one of these, we would see we have our student names showing up here. So again, it's sort of, it all links up and it's all nice and easy. Few other good things to know here. If you need to change the name of the class, you can just come in and edit class. So all I did there was in the admin area. So this is only available for admins in your school. I go to classes, hit edit, and I can change the name. And if you've made a mistake with the grade, you can change the grade. Try not to do that mid-year. It can confuse a few things if students are halfway through courses and things, but it can be done. Or if you need to change the teachers. So I maybe need to assign a second teacher here. Maybe we're team teaching, or maybe there's a sub in or something like that. You can do that, no problem. And just don't forget to hit save. As you can see now, there's two teachers assigned here. We both have access to this class. The other thing we can do then is to, you can, if you need to add an individual class, do it here. It's very straightforward. Fill in the exact same details that we had on the spreadsheet, but you can just do them one by one here. And the exact same, let's say you had a sub teacher in for the day and you wanted to give them access to Olus, you hit add teacher, and it's very straightforward. Or again, the exact same thing with the student. If you have a student transferring mid-year and you're just adding one student, you can still use the template the same way we did before and just put it on the spreadsheet, but it's probably easier if it's just one or even 2 or 3 students to go add student and just fill them in here and click create. So that is the core of it. One other good thing to know is I mentioned the QR code. So particularly for younger students, this can be very handy. So I'm in students in the admin area here, and there's this download QR codes button. I hit that, I get a question saying, am I sure? I click OK, and that's going to download all of the students in the school QR codes for them. So what I can do, if I didn't want my students messing around with usernames and passwords, and if they weren't already logged into their Google account or their Microsoft account, this can be a much quicker way of getting logged in. So you literally, you go to olus.app the same way you normally do to sign in, and then you click the sign in with QR code button, and they just hold that up then to their webcam. If you've got them logging in with Google already, there's no need to do this, but it's a nice backup option as well. Let's say someone was locked out of their Google account and you just needed it for this one class. It can be a good option, assuming that you have webcams on your school devices. I can also do that from the teacher area, in which case when I hit the download QR codes, I will only get the QR codes for this particular class, which can be useful as well. 1 or 2 other things before I let you go. If you are assigned to more than one class, so maybe, for example, if you're the admin, maybe you want to be assigned to all of the classes so you can kind of bounce around and see what they're working on, I can go in and I can edit myself as a teacher, and I can just tick myself into all of those classes if I want to. If I've done that, I can switch between the classes that I'm looking at down in the bottom left here. Depending on if you're on a small screen device, that your initials there, they might appear on the top right, but generally if you're on a laptop or a tablet, it'll be in the bottom left, and we can switch between them. And where that comes in useful is if I want to go into student courses and actually assign some courses. So assign maybe might be a STAR Online Safety course, or the Internet Legends Online Safety, or the Book Creator, or the Canva, or the Google Workspace, or whatever I want to assign to them. I can go and I can do that on a class-by-class basis here. There is a feature coming up soon where as an admin you'll have visibility of all the schools from the admin area, but that's not live as I speak at the start of the 2025-26 school year. So in the meantime, if you want to do that, we can go and we can choose that course, and away we go. That is the core of what you need to know to get started. If you have issues with the uploads, well, one thing is you can always reach out and talk to us. We're here to help. If you send us your spreadsheets, we can upload them for you if you want us to do that. The main places that people run into problems is if we come back to our spreadsheets for a quick second, maybe teachers or admins will sometimes go, oh, I don't need that, and they'll delete that column, and that will trip things up. The column headings need to be the exact same way that they are here. Please do not change any of the text here, because that will trip it up and you will get an error message. Equally on the, let's say the import students, occasionally someone will send us a spreadsheet where instead of first name, last name, they've just deleted one of these and just put in a single column with just names. Again, that's not going to work. It needs to be the exact same way it is here. Now, you can, if you had a list of full names, you can do a split. That's maybe slightly beyond the scope of this video, but if you Google split text, Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, you'll find examples on how to do that, and you can do it relatively quickly. Again, if you need help with that, just let us know, and we are here to help. You will get error messages through the portal if you make a mistake or if you get one of those things wrong, and they are generally reasonably helpful and will tell you what the problem is, but not always, depending on what it is. So again, any issues, reach out to us, hello@olus.education. That's hello@olus.education, and we're always here to help. Best of luck with it, and we'll see you in the next video.